So a few things I want to quickly share with you before we get excited into the discussion for the day. You see, one thing you need to understand is that to be able to pass the strategic case study examination, it's going to require a lot of work, especially knowing about how the various models apply and how to actually answer questions in respect of the various model. So, like you know already, and I keep on telling you, it is one thing to say that, oh, I understand the model, but it's another thing to understand how the models actually apply in given circumstances. So, this is what I want you to do: make some time. And what you want to do is to go online, do some research, and see how the various models apply to industries and various industries and various companies, because that would then help you to understand the models very well. Because in class, I can only do so much. I can only apply the model to just a few industries, maybe one or two industries. But then on your own, you would have to be able to go outside the class and then do some research and find out how the models actually apply to specific companies. That way, it enables you to then open your brain, open your level of understanding, so that you can then position yourself to actually write out your answers in the exam hall if you are asked about it. So let me show you just something, especially about what we did yesterday. Let me bring up my screen and show you something. So you remember that yesterday we spoke about the EPRG framework, used international orientation used by companies seeking to go international. So you could come on Google and put something up there and find out. Let me go back. So look at what I typed here: application of EPRG. You're going to see a lot of search, so you're going to do a lot of reading, but one of them will be a bit sensible that you pick. So this is one that is quite uh, exhaustive and provide a detailed understanding of the EPRG framework and how it actually applies beyond what we discussed in the class. So this is super whatever heuristic.com. So I open, and it's a website actually for people doing MBAs and other things. So they have a lot of information here that can help you in that particular case. A lot of articles on these models. So EPRG. So they explain the various issues. They talk about reasons why companies must even go global. But where you want to be excited about is the framework itself. And they spoke about how the frameworks are, each of them. But the most important thing is examples of how the framework is used by companies. Okay, so if we spoke about ethnocentrism yesterday, and because that's the first in the EPRG stages of going international, we take what works in our home country and then boom, we that is what is going to be implemented in the foreign country. So what do we do then? Look at an example here. So if you look at this example here, it says that Nissan's earliest export from Japan were automobiles designed for mild Japanese winters. When exported to the US, a company with extreme winters, these vehicles were difficult to start. A country, it should not be a company. A country with extreme winters, these vehicles were difficult to start. There were locations in northern Japan where there were comparative chilled winters, but the car owners here would put blankets over car hoods. Nissan management assumed that even US customers would do that. Nissan tried for a long time to design cars in Japan and shove it in the US market, but all was vain. Do you see the application of the model? You see the practical scenarios of how it's happened. So that is ethnocentric, because they think that because there is some level of winter in Japan and people can cover their cars, they think US, everybody will do that. So since it is working in Japan, people in US will also have the same mindset and it will work there. But the weather is different. So they failed. They failed. Another example there, similarly, was the case of Walt Disney, decided to venture into France with similar marketing strategies as in the US. The Minister of Culture in Paris announced that the park will be boycotted because it was an unwelcome symbol of American cliches and consumer society. Again, if you know anything about US, Disney is one of the companies that have a lot of theme parks that people can go to on holidays, have fun. There are a lot of things there. And so they took whatever is working in America, thinking that it will work in France, forgetting that Europe, France, they have different taste than the Americans. So the Minister of Culture, Mwao, said they will boycott. Now, if your minister said they boycott, who will go? Nobody will go. Then, at the same time, there were political clashes between the US government and French associates. There were operational errors that existed. For instance, keeping their strategy similar to US, they had declared this amusement park to be alcohol free. But this did not play very well in countries where a glass of wine for lunch is a given. That is the idea here. So in America, you say people should not drink. French, they like wine. Most of your if you're into wine or whatever it is, most of the expensive wines, Italy, France. So people want to have some wine whilst their kids are having fun. Then you come and put ice cream. Can it be? Can it be? What is ice cream for? Are you getting the idea? So that is what I want you to do. It's going to require some time, some dedication. So if you sit there and say, Nhyira, I don't have time, Nhyira, my mother, Nhyira, my wife, my husband, my daddy, then you cannot understand this. You cannot understand this. You go to Polycentric, and we've mentioned what that is already. And there is another example here. So Polycentric, we don't care about what is working in our home country. We contextualize in that particular country that we are going into. So Polycentric, example is here, McDonald's, the food franchise. In Ghana here, probably we can compare McDonald's to Chicken Man, okay, Pizza Man, okay, Cheesy Pizza, whatever the heck, all right, KFC. I know KFC is a franchise in Ghana, so that kind of thing. Okay, McDonald's is a prominent example of firm following polycentric approach. Having originated in US, its menu in the US is centered around their local preference, which is beef and meat. When coming to India, it realized that Indians are culturally averse to eating beef. It not only took off its offering in beef, but also came up with vegetarian offering for the Indian subcontinent. European McDonald's often serve wine in addition to soft drinks. There is a special Dutch cookie, McFlurry, on the menu in Netherlands. You see what is going on here? So in America, people like beef in their burger. That will not thrive in India. In America, people don't like wine. They like beer and other soft drinks. In Europe, people want to take wine. So whatever is working in America, put it aside. Once you come to the market, do what the market is looking for. And you can go on. Another firm with its polycentric approach is Google. Do you care to notice the changing doodles each day? Rather than attempting a single doodle worldwide, it adapts itself according to different countries. There may be a different person being honored in India and at the same time some other festival being celebrated in the US. So Google also have that. So if you open your Google browser, you can select Ghana. Even Google is adapted in Chi. All of those things so that we don't have to create one thing and apply to everybody. No, per the market and the information that is available. That is the idea about how companies go international. If you care to get any streaming service or you're on a streaming service, Apple Plus TV or Amazon Prime or Netflix, there are certain shows that are available in certain markets but are not available in certain markets. So you're in Africa, yeah, you're gonna see a lot of the Nigerian movies, da 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 da, some Korean movies, da 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 da. You are in America, who cares about Nigerian movies? Who cares about Korean movies? They have an industry. So you see a lot of those films there. Now, again, it doesn't mean they are disrespecting a culture, a group of people. It's simply saying that let's adapt our streaming service to what the people want, to what the people know, to what the people care about. So that is the idea about how EPRG works. So all I'm trying to tell you is that to be able to pass the case study exam, it will require work. So if you spend some additional time, whatever, twice in a week, 3 times in a week, instead of sitting down and reading the book and reading the model and trying to read the model and chew baba, read something like this. Practical cases and see how the model applies to various industries. So you can see it in automobile, you can see it in the food and restaurant, you can see it in the service business. All of these is to help you to understand the model so that it doesn't become a routine baba, baba, baba throughout. No. That is the idea about that. Okay? Any questions, any comments quickly? That's the idea about that. So whichever model it is. So I can say, okay, application of whatever value chain to a specific industry. What industry do you want? It depends. Like I told you, the model applied to different industry. So application of value chain to automobile industry, or maybe to a car manufacturing company. Okay, to a car manufacturer. Okay, you're gonna see a lot of a lot of garbage on online as well. But I mean, at this level, some of you have done your masters or doing your PhD or whatever the heck. I mean, you know how to do research generally. So look at it: value chain analysis of the automobile industry. So let's say we go to this. I've not done this. So let's say we go to this. Then you're going to see inbound logistics. So this is the first step in the automobile. At the first step, raw materials are received from the suppliers. The suppliers of this industry are scattered all over the world, from US, Japan to Thailand and China. In this stage, raw materials are received from suppliers and distributed among the manufacturing units as per the requirement. The remaining raw material is stored in the warehouse for later use. You see that? So it's telling you about inbound logistics for a car manufacturing company. So if you want to learn the value chain and understand the value chain very well, you have to read this and others. Then you go to another industry. You go to another industry. You go to another industry. You go to another industry so that you build a holistic understanding of what you are learning. I could say, oh, wait, when the case study comes, then you will know the industry that the case study is in, then you do that. Yes, it's okay to wait till that time, but before then, you have to be studying. And you are not just learning this because you want to just pass an ICA exam and get the hell out of this place. You are going to be applying this model depending on wherever you find yourself and whatever field you choose to be in. So how do you apply the models? Operations. This is the second stage that covers the main production stage. However, it can be divided into several parts of the chassis to the final vehicle. From the chassis to the final vehicle. Operation is basically the process of converting raw material into the product. Several of the major producers have their manufacturing units and operations scattered all over the world, from Asia to Europe and America. It helps them save on cost related to manufacturing and shipping to the regional markets. That's operations. Because yesterday I was telling you about Tesla. They have factories in China, in Germany, in America. So the China factory serves that Asia region. Germany serves most of the Europe market. America serves the America market. So they don't have to incur a lot of cost in shipping things. They locate factories at where their significant markets are and where they can get the inputs required for the production of the product. All of these things will be under operations. So this is how you have to study these models. This is your way out. This is what you have to do. So every week, maybe twice a week, you can see this thing that you can do this over breakfast, can do this over tea or something like that. So even if it is 30 minutes, even if it is 45 minutes, consciously have that time available. Pick a model, two models, apply it to various industries that are predominant in this country. Mining. How does the value chain analysis applies to a mining company? You know the various theoretical issues already, but how do they apply in a practical sense? So that is how you study the case study. It's not about, yeah, I'm reading the model. This model there is difficult. Or no, we don't care. It's about how the model can be applied. So please, I really want you to take this thing up very well, because when you do this, by the time the pre-scene comes and we know the industry that the question is in, then in your attempt to understand the case study, after you read all the case study and identify all the models that are at play, what do you have to do? You just have to do a research on it and see how the model applied to the case study and the problems that the question is having. So before you come to the class for us to have a discussion, you have had a deeper understanding of the case, of the models, and how they apply to that industry and how they apply to that particular case study. That way, when you go to the exam hall, whichever question is put before you, because you have done all your work, you understand how the models apply, it's easier for you to write out your answers. That's all about case study. That is all about case study. So I really want you to put in the work. I really want you to go the extra mile. I really want you to put yourself in the position where you will be able to understand these things well. Because sometimes you sit down and you read the models and you're like, into day. Into day. Okay, EPRG, into day. Ethnocentrism, nah, day. Polycentrism. What the heck is that? Regiocentrism, anti-geocentrism. What the heck? But if you now see how companies are using this, and how companies not using it result into failure, then it now gives you the aha moment, and you understand that, oh, okay, I'm not just learning something that doesn't make sense. I'm learning something that is really, really valuable. All right. So I really want you to work hard and study this thing in the manner that it has to be studied. That is the only way you can actually go and pass this exam.